In chess, there is always a confusion what is the best move. Not only what is the best move, but why it is the best. It's black to play, and let's try to decode from this position that what is the best move for the black and why it is so. If you look this position for the first time, you can have a clear observation that black can shift his king to f4, try to capture the pawn on g4. White cannot go into the opposition, otherwise black can easily take both the pawns, and white king against black's two pawns. It's a clear winning game for the white. So instead of going to the f2, if white decided to play the counter attack, which is not correct with the h5, still black can take both the pawn. So the correct counter attack for the white is pawn to g5. Here, black both the pawn h6 and f6 have a chance to grab on the g5. Here, the confusion start. The question is, what is the best move for the black? Should h6 take on the g5 or should f6 take on g5? Pause the video and think for the 5 seconds. If black f pawn takes on the g5, the game will end up as a draw, because after this, white can take on the g5. And now here black pawn and king both can take on the g5. But if pawn takes on the g5, then white king to f2 and white successfully enter into the opposition. And now no matter what black will do, white will not go out of the opposition. Black do any mistake, then white can also grab the pawn. So this position is completely draw. And even if after white takes on the g5, if king takes on the g5, then this is the case. It is rook's pawn against the opponent king in front of the pawn. So white can easily stop black's pawn from promoting. So both the case, it is a draw. And if h takes on the g5, then white clear have a chance. He can take the pawn on g5 or he can push the pawn. But if white decided to push his pawn to the h5 and try to promote, then that will not work, because king can go to the f5. And now if he again pushes pawn, then king can easily grab the pawn. And if white start pushing his king towards his pawn, then black have enough time to grab white's pawn by just moving closer to him. And white is forced to go away from his own pawn. Black will grab. And now if white takes on the f6, then black pawn to g4 is unstoppable. White cannot stop the pawn promotion. And instead of going to the h5, if pawn takes on the g5, then here black again have a two option. King can take on g5 or pawn can take on g5. Don't did the blunder of taking pawn on g5, because again the same position appears. White enter into the opposition and you cannot progress with your pawn. So instead of that, just grab the pawn with the king. And now white have no chance to enter into the opposition. Black enter into the opposition. Black have a chance to create the outflank. And now black can easily promote his pawn. Subscribe to our channel for more informative video related to chess.